All righty, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners Mule Deer Oversight Enhancement Program Subcommittee for Elko County Management Area 6 and Hunt Unit 065 for November 29th at 5 p.m. It is 5:04. And we will move to action item number 2, approval of the agenda for possible action. The subcommittee will review the agenda and may take action to approve the agenda. The subcommittee may remove items from the agenda, combine items for consideration, or take items out of order.
Do we have to take this out to public comment?
That's what we've done in the past. Jim, honestly, I don't know if it's necessary, but just to cover our bases, we can take it out to public comment very shortly. There's only one. Oh, there are no attendees. So, I think we can ask, and if nobody raises a virtual hand, we're fine.
So are we looking for a motion to approve, or is this meeting based on others weren't happy with results or wanting to make changes? What do we need to go with here?
So this would be just for the agenda, if we want to take anything out of order, but we can someone could move to approve the agenda if we want to proceed as presented.
Move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, moved by Jim, seconded by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, on to number 3, approval of the minutes from October 14th for possible action. If you had a chance to go over those minutes, they've been up for at least a little bit now. If we have any questions or anything about that, otherwise we'll just take an action to move and approve.
I don't know if it's that important on this, but in the minutes, when a person makes a motion, it's not motioned. It should be moved rather than motioned. I don't know if that's getting a little nitpicky, but according to Robert's rules, that's probably the appropriate way to move that particular motion, not motioned.
All right, perfect. Thanks for that, Jim. That's my rookie public meeting mistake there. I'll change that in the minutes moving forward from here.
Perfect.
All right, can we get a motion on the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes as proposed or as amended.
I'd second that.
All right, moved by Jim, seconded by Corey. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously with the amendment. Okay, action item number 4. Subcommittee members may present emergent items. No action may be taken by the subcommittee. Any item requiring subcommittee action may be scheduled on a future subcommittee agenda. The subcommittee will review and may discuss correspondence sent or received by the subcommittee and may provide copies for the exhibit file. Subcommittee members may provide hard copies of their correspondence for the written record. Correspondence sent or received by the department will also be discussed. So this is a non-action item, but do we have any correspondence from the group or emergent items?
Travis, I was asked by a couple of sportsmen if the discussion if we had had a discussion regarding any of the Area 6 deer that migrate to the north, if we were doing anything to try to get a handle on how many deer were actually going back off into Idaho during the winter time. And I don't recall us really having any major discussion about that, but I told the sportsman that I'd bring that up. That we probably weren't going to be able to act on anything, but I wanted to bring that to the group.
Yeah, Jim, I think that's good. We often talk about the Area 6 deer herd, a lot about the Eisenhood, Sheep Creeks, and the South Tuscaroras, but we're aware of at least 2 other migrations that go northward into Idaho. And we are beginning to, we've been radio collaring animals out there. It takes a certain amount of events, individual migrations in and out for each individual for us to do that Browning and Bridge modeling to create those corridors. So we're kind of in the process of delineating those corridors currently. But we won't have any data on exactly that, or we won't have any analyzed movement data on that for a while. As for the amount of numbers of animals that do that, I mean, we could look kind of at survey data from the past and kind of extrapolate that out into how many deer we think make those movements. But a lot of those movements happen post hunt season. If there's anything else I can add, I'd be happy to do so.
I think that addresses it. We should have more information in the future then.
Yep. Tyler can hear us, but he's having trouble communicating back. So if he wants to just kind of correspond through me, or maybe I think he's on his phone, I believe, which also makes it difficult to do the raise hand or anything. But can he just coordinate through messages on the side, Tom, or how might that work for our vote here?
Yeah, I think
Looks like he's in.
yes,
Or connecting. All right. Well, while Tyler connects, does any other folks have any emergent items? Okay. We'll let Tyler connect here and see if he has anything. Okay, Tyler says he doesn't have any emergent items to bring up, so we can move on to number 5, the reason we're here tonight. Area 6 Hunt Unit 065 project proposals for possible action. The subcommittee will review the draft project proposals and may vote to submit project proposals to the Oversight Committee for consideration. So as you all saw, we made some changes and provided some context for the proposals that we had submitted last time. Most of it was just minor tweaks based on logistics or interpretation. But happy to discuss, review, go over those, or make a vote to approve them or deny them, however the group wants to move forward.
Just a couple of comments when I went through these, and I guess questions that I had, Travis, on the first one for the migration corridor. I think it would make it a stronger proposal on item number 4, where it says this project would take place in its entirety on private lands. That you call out that there is the private landowners have already agreed that this project is a good one and are on board. I think that would just make the proposal stronger to call that out.
Okay.
In item 6, herd is spelled incorrectly.
Yep.
And then on line number 8, in the parentheses there, it says chemical herbicide and seedling planting, chemical herbicide. It's just saying the same thing twice. I would just say herbicide and seedling planting.
All right. Strike chemical.
Yeah, just some nitpicky stuff there, but it'll just make it read better, I think, for the Oversight Committee.
Nope. I agree. Thank you for that.
And I guess I should ask, were you planning on going through these kind of project by project and voting on them individually, or are we going to vote on them as one whole packet?
I believe that the whole thing could be voted on as one whole packet if the group chooses to do so. But Tom would have to provide clarification there.
Yeah, I think it's just whatever the pleasure of the group is. If folks want to tackle them one at a time, or as a package, I think is up to the subcommittee.
Thanks, Sean.
Well, I'll just keep going then. I just have one other clarifying comment on the third project on the Mule near following justification. In the last sentence of the first paragraph, it lists just heavy industry as just kind of a blanket statement. I think it would be helpful to spell out what you guys are actually thinking of there. And then also to some explanation as to how it is mitigating threats from heavy industry. There's some discussion about how it's working for predator removal and habitat, but it doesn't really explain how it's going to be used in that way. And I think that's important to have that in here as to how this collaring project actually does, whether it helps site projects, helps in the NEPA analysis, whatever that is. I just think it would be helpful to spell out why it's going to reduce impacts or reduce threats from heavy industry.
Yeah, it's definitely something we can do. I think using the term heavy industry was just to tie in right to the risk factors. So we could show that we are addressing something from the risk factors, but we can say, open pit mining. What would be your recommendation for a different term for heavy industry?
I think even just leaving that in there, Matt, and just putting parentheses mining or whatever the department feels it's going to help with, and just listing those things out there. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Okay, those were my comments. I'll shut up now.
All right. No, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Any other comments from the board or the subcommittee?
So Trav, this is Tom real quick. I'm not sure how you want to tackle this. If we're gonna, or you all are gonna amend some of those project proposals based on whatever comments are coming in. If we want to get those things approved tonight, you might want to share your screen, and then whatever amendments or edits you do to them right here, and then have everybody at the end of it either approve or deny, because if you go to do them after the fact, we're just going to have to meet again to have everybody review them once more and vote. So maybe take care of some of those if the group agrees with I mean, you can ask the group how they feel about the comments and do it, as you go to avoid another meeting.
Okay. I can fully support that we should probably spell words correctly. So we'll fix heard in number 6. Give me just a moment here to pull up the correct. Okay. All right, folks, let me know when you can see the document here. Okay. So I will be changing this to be the correct spelling and then striking out chemical. All right, then I'll save that.
You've got chemical
Other-
number 5 as well.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
And then the other comment was just there on number 4, just to state that the private landowners where this would occur
Okay.
have been notified or support, or whatever you think is the right wording there, but I think it will help the proposal.
That's kind of redundant, but all right, with the amendments made to the migration corridor habitat improvement project, we could probably just individually move to approve or, make a vote on this one right now and just do them one by one as we make the modifications we need, if the group feels so.
Yeah, I think that's probably a cleaner way, just in case there ever is one of these that somebody can't get behind, we can, vote on individually instead of, showing someone not supporting the entire packet, so.
Perfect.
So I'll go ahead and move that we accept this first proposal with the changes that you just made on the screen.
second,
All right. Moved by Chris Jasmine, seconded by Jim Cooney. All in favor, say aye.
aye,
All right,
All opposed? All right.
Before we get too far, Jim might even know a little more than me. When you're doing these individually like that, I think we do need to offer public comment before that. So we can we have one member of the public, although technically an oversight committee member in the attendees. So probably wouldn't
All
hurt
right.
if he had some public comment.
All right.
you are correct.
Tyler, can you hear us? Are you able to, is your audio coming through to us now?
I'm talking right now. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yep, we got you. Just wanted to make sure your vote was being counted.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, to public comment.
Charlie, if you have any public comment, just go ahead and raise your hand. It looks like there is no public comment.
All righty. So the Management Area 6 Migration Corridor Habitat Improvement Project has been passed unanimously by the group. All right. We can just stick with 6 real quick. Were there any comments to the remote sensing project? Any changes necessary for that one or discussion?
I just have a question on that one. Will that be work that gets put out to bid through the state process, or will it be continuation of work a contractor has completed in the past? And if so, what contractor is that?
I can take that, Travis, if you're all right. So we only have one contractor on our state vendor list, Chris, and that's ORC. I'm sure you're familiar with, and they'll be the ones doing the work. It is a continuation of other work that we had already identified in another proposal that had a heritage proposal and habitat conservation fee proposal that funded those that project. It will get started this spring, summer with all the field site visits. They'll need 80 field samples throughout the approximately 1.4 million acres to complete all that work. Mapping Medusa head, cheatgrass, brush species, perennial grasses, and forage kochia.
Great. One more follow-up question.
Yeah.
Since there is private land that occurs in there,
Yeah.
would that be available to those private landowners? Say you find a Medusa head outbreak out there somewhere on a section of private land.
Yeah, no question. I think NDOW's intention is to share that information with the 25 NGM, Squaw Valley, or Humboldt River Ranch, whomever. I mean, I think the idea there is just to keep everybody apprised of what's going on the landscape.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog's chewing on a bone in the background.
All right. So do we want to see a motion for the Management Area 6 Remote Sensing Modeling Project proposal?
Let's
Do you want
roll
to
it
take it out
public
for
comment.
public comment?
Oh, yep. Let's please do that.
Any public comment, Charlie? Raise your hand if you do, please. No public comment.
All right. Whatever the crowd pleases.
This is Tyler Ingram. I'll move to approve that item.
Second.
All right. Moved by Mr. Tyler Ingram, seconded by Mr. Jim Cooney. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right. Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on to the third and final.
Chris, does it work for you if we just next to heavy industry put mining in parentheses?
Sorry, trying to unmute. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. And then the, just to address the additional focus on just going in on morts. I mean, we normally do that. That's not really a deviation from what's standard, but that was to address concern from Mr. Cooney just what are we doing looking at lion or coyote predation? And I thought this was an easy tie-in that we could show that we're looking at it, and we'll document, the cause of mortality. And if it is coyotes or lions, and we can reconvene and come up with an additional project or two tearing off that. So did that help answer your questions on that one?
Yeah, I think my question or comment was more just, you know, a sentence or two that, that states that, by using that data, you can more precisely plan vegetation treatments to benefit those deer that are, using that mountain range. And then also, that it'll be used to help cite, heavy industry type projects. Because really, I think that's what you guys are trying to get at there with that data is, collecting it so you can see where you should be doing work and then seeing where you should be avoiding impacts if possible.
For
And
sure.
I just think stating that, since you do call out invasive weeds and heavy industry, I think would just be helpful to the overall proposal, making it clear to anybody that's reading it.
And I apologize, I don't have a Word version of this on this computer I'm using for this meeting now, but on the second paragraph, maybe we could just, after saying through targeted habitat restoration, we could say through targeted habitat restoration aimed at offsetting energetic costs of having to navigate new mining features on the landscape, or something to that extent. Would that address your concerns?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
I can use that exact sentence and just put it right after that targeted habitat restoration on that second paragraph, and then that kind of does tie it into what the overarching goal is. That's a good point. Does anyone else have any comments or ways to spruce it up? Okay.
I assume, Matt, you can listen back to the recording and put those exact words in there just so everyone on the call is comfortable with what the changes will be.
Yep, exactly.
Great.
And will
All
it
right.
work? Do you guys want us to resend these out at the end? I mean, we didn't talk about that, but I think that was a concern last time that was brought up. Do you want us to resubmit these when we submit them in? We could send it out to this group as well as resubmitting it for the Oversight Committee's review.
Yeah, I would think, and Jim might know, but I would think these would probably just be attached to final versions as part of the minutes, huh? Is that possible?
It should be, I would think.
Then
I
would
think
just
it
be-
is a good idea to get it to the members of the subcommittee.
Yeah, if it was just attached as part of the minutes, if that's possible, then it's in the record as the final version, and then really at our next meeting we would be approving that anyway. So if there was any changes or something that somebody I can't see that happening. Somebody changed, it would be obvious in the minutes then.
Okay, so we'll find a way to attach those to the meeting minutes. Post this meeting as they go out to the Oversight Committee as well. So I think all that's left is an action on the continuation of the 2021 Pinning Range Mule Deer Collaring Project proposal.
Public comment first, if
Oh,
you
yep.
want to say anything.
Public comment?
Nope, doesn't look like there's any public comment.
All right.
I'd make a motion then to approve with the addition to the second sentence as Matt Jeffers stated earlier.
Tyler Ingram, second.
All right, moved by Mr. Chris Jasmine, seconded by Mr. Tyler Ingram. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, motion passed unanimously. Okay. Now we will take the overall meeting to public comment. No action. Do I need to read this whole paragraph, Tom, or can we just go to public comment?
Probably wouldn't hurt to read it.
Okay. Persons are invited to submit written comments to ndowgame@ndow.org or to raise their virtual hand to make a comment during the meeting. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. No action can be taken by the subcommittee at this time. Any item requiring subcommittee action may be scheduled on a future subcommittee agenda. In addition to this public comment period, public comment limited to 3 minutes per speaker will be allowed on each agenda action item, but not, unless otherwise noted, on reports or informational items.
All right, I think that covers it. Doesn't look like there's any public comment.
All right, moving on to number 7, future subcommittee meetings for possible action. The subcommittee will discuss the time and date for the next meeting. I imagine that meeting would likely be after the Oversight Committee meeting, possibly after the calendar year changes.
When is that next subcommittee meeting planned for, Travis?
I believe that is next week on. Any NDEP folks have it off?
I think it's
Off your
December
head.
15th, December 15th.
So yeah, I think you're right on, Travis. I don't think there's any need for this group to meet until after that meeting, and maybe just some feedback from the department on whether or not the proposals are accepted or not.
Okay. Yep, we can make that happen, and we don't have to take an action on this item, so we can circle back, after all that happens, or we can set a date if the group feels that's necessary. Nope. All right. And with that, if the group has just any last things to mention, we can adjourn if not.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Do I have to take a vote on
We got
this
a
too? Moved by just, okay,
think
that does it.
You swing your virtual hammer, Travis.
All right, perfect. Thanks for
everyone.
bearing with me on this public meeting stuff, guys. I'm not a pro here at all, so.
You did great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
right, everybody.